Salam and peace be upon you. My name is Muhammad Laiq Sibiqi, the father of Holophase. Episode 12, Part 4, The First Touch. A equals D phi, reality's first true face. We stand at the threshold of contact. Through 3 chambers we've prepared. The white room of pure possibility, phi. The art of disciplined comparison. The licensed windows where truth speaks clearly. Now comes the dangerous question. When we look through a clear window, what do we actually see? The hillside in the fog. Imagine standing before a hillside on a misty morning. You cannot see the hill itself. The fog is too thick. But you can see something. The fog's behavior reveals the hill's invisible shape. Where the hill rises steeply, fog flows faster. Where it plateaus, fog drifts gently. Where it curves, fog swirls in particular patterns. You never see the hill directly, but through how the fog changes, you know the hill's form. This is our exact situation with phi. We never measure phi itself. That's like trying to measure the hill through perfect fog. Phi is potential for difference, and absolute potential cannot be touched. But we can measure something else, how phi changes. We write this simply. A equals d phi. A is what instruments actually touch. D phi is how phi differs from itself. This equation is not just mathematics. It is the first honest statement about what we can actually know. Why absolute phi is meaningless. Hold a drawing compass. Place point on paper, rotate pencil to draw a circle. Now, rotate entire compass 30 degrees before drawing. The circle produced is identical. The absolute orientation is irrelevant. Only relationship between point and pencil matters. That's gauge in everyday terms. Absolute settings can shift, but nothing measurable changes. Phi has this property deeper. Add constant to phi everywhere, nothing observable changes. This is an instrument limitation. It is the structure of comparability itself. The universe carries no global absolute phase label anyone can read. So when we ask, what is phi itself, the firewall corrects us. The only honest question, what can be compared? Answer, differences of phi, not phi itself. The 2 kinds of difference. Difference speaks in 2 ways. Finite difference. My house is 200 meters higher than river. Differential difference. This road rises 10 meters per kilometer. First tells accumulated result. Second, the slope tells local rate of change. Slope lets you predict what happens if you keep walking. A is slope object of phi. What trustworthy instruments actually touch. Think. Phi is landscape. A equals d phi is slope of landscape. Instruments are like carpenter's levels measuring local tilt. Level doesn't care where 0 height is, only cares how height changes. That's gauge invariance made physical. From single note to map. Return to bazaar violin. Through license window, we hear clear note. But now we want to know, where is violin? Is it moving? Is note steady or trembling? Rising or falling? These need more than single comparison. They need structured set of comparisons, arranged in pattern. This is heart of transition. License window doesn't just collect data. It establishes coherent neighborhood of comparisons, enough to infer local structure. When you have local structure, you do something miraculous. You build a map. A equals d phi is minimal map object. Connection between here and nearby here, now and nearby now, this state and nearby state. In technical terms, A is one form. Strip away jargon. A is rule telling how much phase change you accumulate taking tiny step in some direction. Step in time, one kind of change. Step in space, another kind. Step along moving pattern, combined change. A contains all this in one object. The triunity emergence. Now something miraculous. When we measure d-phi through licensed windows, looking at how phi changes across coherent comparisons, we discover d-phi isn't just number. D-phi has deep structure. Like listening to music and discovering single note is actually chord with multiple harmonious tones. From A equals d-phi, three inseparable aspects emerge simultaneously. Omega, rhythm, cadence, how patterns repeat in time-like comparison. Gradient, shape, how patterns vary across space-like comparison. Transport, flow, how patterns move while maintaining identity. These are not three separate things. They are three readings of the same change. This is triunity principle. Three shadows of one change. Omega, rhythm of being. Your heartbeat, thump-thump, thump-thump. Steady cadence saying, this moment differs from next moment in this rhythmic way. Seasons. Winter, spring, summer, autumn. Repeating pattern saying, this cycle differs from itself in this temporal structure. Omega is not time, not yet. Omega is raw material of time. Difference measured in before-after comparisons. Every repeating pattern, pendulum swinging, star pulsing, thought recurring, manifests omega emerging from d-phi. Ka, shape of difference. Temperature map. Hot here, cooler there, coldest over there. Pattern saying, this place differs from that place in this spatial way. Mountain range. Peaks here, valleys there, slopes between. Shape saying, this location differs from that location in this geometric way. Kappa is not space, not yet. Kappa is raw material of space. Difference measured in here-there comparisons. Every pattern varying across positions. Sound spreading through air, magnetic field around magnet, thought spreading through community. Manifests kappa emerging from d-phi. No, flow carrying pattern. Wave moving across water. Water doesn't travel with wave. Pattern travels. Waveform moves while maintaining shape. Melody moving through room. Air molecules don't travel instrument to ear. Pattern of compressions travels. Musical form moves while maintaining structure. Nu is not motion, not yet. Nu is raw material of motion. How patterns maintain identity while changing position. Miracle. Nu emerges naturally from omega and kappa together. The inseparable trinity. Understand deeply. You never find omega without kappa. You never find kappa without nu. You never find nu without omega. Three faces of one coin. Take apart, reality unravels. Example, sound wave. Sound wave has omega, frequency, compressions per second, wavelength, distance between compressions. Nu, speed, how fast pattern moves, omega by kappa. Try sound without frequency. Impossible. Silence isn't sound. Try sound without wavelength. Impossible. Sound must occupy space. Try sound without speed. Impossible. Sound must propagate. Three emerge together because three readings of same underlying d-phi pattern. Example, your consciousness. You experience omega right now, rhythm of breath, beating of heart, flow of thoughts through mind. You experience kappa right now, feeling body occupying space, distance between you and what you're hearing, gradient of attention across awareness. You experience nu right now, movement of time through consciousness, transport of meaning from these words to understanding, flow of experience moment to moment. These aren't separate experiences, three aspects of one experience of being. Compatibility rule. Reality must agree with itself. Accept A equals d foo. Powerful constraint appears. If A truly differential of something, cannot be arbitrary. Must satisfy compatibility conditions. Derivatives of derivatives must match. Everyday terms. Map must not contradict itself. Use GPS. Watch it jump wildly. No incompatibility fields. One moment on motorway. Next, parallel road. Then snaps back. That's measurements noisy. Reconstruction can't maintain consistency. Holophase. In licensed windows, reconstructed A must satisfy basic relations. Any d-phi must satisfy. Simplest compatibility relation. Donical kappa equals minus tot omega. Plain language. If spatial gradient of phi changes over time, must do so consistent with how temporal cadence varies across space. Universe cannot independently decide these two things. Shadows of same underlying phi. First glimpse why holophase has strong falsification power. Produces internal consistency checks. Any real reconstruction must pass. Measured omega and kappa violate compatibility beyond uncertainty bounds. Don't get to keep claim. Firewall revokes it. The scent trail. Imagine searching bakery, unfamiliar town. Can't see it. Buildings block view. No map. But smell fresh bread. First, bread smell here. Raw reading. Smell alone ambiguous. Maybe drifted far away. Maybe wind shifted. Start walking and comparing. Few steps, smell strengthens. Sideways steps, smell weakens. Now not just sensing bread, sensing gradient of smell, direction in which increases. That gradient is d-phi-like object, tells how phase of breadness changes as you move. Follow gradient uphill, find bakery. Notice, never needed absolute bread value in universe, needed local change. That's why A, first touchable face of reality. Direction and rate information, making navigation possible, otherwise unknown world. Cosmogenesis, at heart, is navigation. Starting minimal information, finding structure must exist for coherent experience. Why this matters. This insight, omega kappa nu, emerged together from d-phi, dissolves centuries' confusion. Most scientific history treated. Time as separate container. Space as separate container. Motion as something happening in those containers. But A equals d-phi reveals more profound. Time, space, motion are not containers. They are relationships. Three ways of reading how phi changes. Changes everything. Beginning of universe. Time emerges from omega, emerges from d-phi. Asking what happened before Big Bang might be like asking what's north of North Pole. Time might not be pre-existing track universe runs along. Time might be pattern that emerges, as phi develops sufficient structure for omega measurable. Fabric of space. Space emerges from kappa, emerges from phi. Space isn't empty stage. Space is pattern of relationships, becoming measurable when phi has sufficient gradient structure. Arrow of motion. Motion emerges from nu, emerges from omega and kappa together. Motion isn't things moving through space over time. Motion is patterns maintaining identity while phi structure evolves particular ways. The prediction. From triunity principle, Holophase makes clear, testable prediction. Omega kappa nu must always appear together any real phenomenon. No exceptions, no special cases, no quantum weirdness breaking this rule. If find phenomenon exhibiting pure omega without kappa or nu, pure kappa without omega or nu, pure nu without omega or kappa, then triunity principle fails. Then holophase must be revised or abandoned. This prediction strong. Says reality has particular structure should hold everywhere we look. The falsification test. How know if wrong? Falsification condition clear. Find any phenomenon, any at all, exhibiting one aspect without others. Example. Frozen object spatial extent, kappa, but no temporal rhythm, omega. Pure rhythm temporal pattern, omega, but no spatial extent, kappa. Motion transports patterns, nu, without rhythm, omega, or spatial structure, kappa. If such phenomena exist, omega, kappa, nu, not inseparable. Understanding Diffie's structure wrong. But fascinating, no such phenomena ever found. Every object has temporal aspects, persists, decays, vibrates. Every rhythm has spatial aspects, occurs somewhere, spreads. Every motion has both rhythm and spatial structure. Universe seems obey triunity principle everywhere look. Practical consequence. Every instrument ever invented measures some combination omega kappa nu. Clocks measure omega patterns. Rulers measure kappa patterns. Speedometers measure nu patterns. Thermometers measure kappa patterns heat. Microphones measure omega patterns pressure. Telescopes measure kappa patterns light. But crucial insight. No instrument measures just one aspect. Clock measures omega, but through kappa, position hands, and involves nu, mechanism motion. Ruler measures kappa, but through omega, time align, and involves nu, transport measurement. Every measurement inherently triune, not problem. Feature of reality. How instruments touch A. Think simple interferometer. Split wave two paths, recombine. Bright dark pattern depends phase difference between paths. That phase difference, delta phi, exactly comparison holophase allows. But interferometer does more. Adjusting path lengths, sampling across pixels, shifting reference beams, build field of comparisons across region. Reconstruct phase map. Once have phase map, most stable compute isn't map itself, gauge shifted, but differences. Gradients, time derivatives. That delta phi practice. Phase locked loops, lock-in amplifiers, digital demodulators, devices deep purpose same. Follow changing phase difference, signal reference. Don't read what phase is. Read how phase changing relative something else. In other words, A readers. A instrument touchable means strong engineering sense. Families devices directly output estimates phase change rates, known noise models, calibrated uncertainty. Firewalls kind reality. Reality build test. Dual pipeline discipline. Return protects science self-deception, independent reconstruction. Imagine checking phase dirty. One mirror might scratched, warped, might believe dirt actually cracked glass. Look second mirror. Both show same smudge, likely real. Only one shows likely artifact. Dual pipelines idea level reality reading. Holophase lab. Pipeline 1. Reconstruct phase intensity transport, tie style. Pipeline 2. Reconstruct phase interference fringes, holography style. Another domain. Pipeline 1. Timing measurement. Pipeline 2. Spatial correlation measurement. Details change, principle remains. I accepted only two independent ways seeing agree within uncertainty. Not bureaucracy, humility. Reality difficult read. Instruments have personalities. Dual pipelines force ask, pattern universe or instrument? Uncertainty promise. One reason people avoid uncertainty, emotional. Uncertainty feels weakness. I don't know. Holophase turns uncertainty strength. I know exactly how well know. Reconstruction without uncertainty, like map without scale. Might look confident, cannot trust it. Part 4 insists. Every estimate, A, omega, kappa, nu, comes uncertainty object, propagated noise model through reconstruction algorithm. Heard CRLB, Kramer-Rao lower bound. Think universe's minimum error law. Given certain noise level observation time, lower bound how accurately estimator perform. Matters makes cheating visible. Someone claims accuracy better than bound, implied instrument window. Either minister, dishonest. Firewall catches. Makes frontier science honest. Frontier, coherence. Gamma lower. Noise stronger. Uncertainty larger. Holophase allows. Forces say so. No one confuses early hints, established truth. Falsification gates. Practical checklist. Make part 4 actionable. Falsification checklist. Firewall demands experiment claiming access. A. Gate 4.1. Gauge shift test. Apply controlled constant phase offset reference. Verify observables based A remain invariant. Gate 4.2. Dual pipeline parity. Reconstruct A two independent pipelines. Verify agreement within uncertainty. Gate 4.3. Compatibility closure. Check the T kappa plus del omega apartment 0 within uncertainty. Gate 4.4. Window degradation behavior. Deliberately reduce coherence gamma. Verify uncertainty grows reconstructions fail gracefully, not producing confident nonsense. Gate 4.5. Loop null test. Defect-free region. Integrate A around small closed loop certified defect-free region. Verify result 0, mod 2 pi within uncertainty. Claimed A passes these become certified building block next parts. Why a opens door cosmogenesis? Now see why part matters big project. Cosmogenesis isn't how universe begin, mythic sense. Cosmogenesis. What minimal structure must exist, world readable? How familiar dimensions emerge that structure? Start A, D phi, start minimal local structure can measured constrains itself. Then ask, A exists, implies about consistency. Consistency implies defining ordered sequences time, implies defining neighborhoods gradients space, implies pattern transport motion. Additional structure appears when A cannot globally defined defects. Discrete invariants arise, integrate A around loops, integers. all cosmogenesis. Part 4 hinge makes possible. Without A, forced introduce something else, first real object, almost certainly smuggling. With A, proceed firewall cleanly. The dance of reality. Analogy feel body. Imagine dancing. Dance has omega, rhythm when move. Kaka, shape, how body occupies space. Na, flow, how movements connect. Try dance without rhythm. Just stand, no dancing. Try dance without shape. Vibrate place, no dancing. Try dance without flow. Disconnected poses, not dancing. Dance only exists all three present. Reality like dance. Omega, kappa nu, rhythm, shape, flow, fees changing patterns. Without all three, reality no doesn't exist. Practice triunity awareness. Try practice one day. Whenever notice one aspect, look other two. Notice time passing, omega. Look spatial aspect, kappa. What changing position, extent. Motion aspect, nu. What patterns moving. Notice spatial arrangement, kappa. Look temporal aspect, omega. How arrangement can be, how change. Motion aspect, nu. What flows maintain arrangement. Notice motion, nu. Look temporal aspect, omega. What rhythm motion have? Spatial aspect, kappa. Through what space motion occur? Begin see triunity everywhere. Clock ticks, omega, while hands move, nu, across face, kappa. City traffic flows, nu. Daily rhythms, omega, through streets, kappa. Thoughts arise, mental rhythms, space awareness. Reality sings three-part harmony. The ultimate insight. Ultimate insight, part 4. Reality not things moving through space over time. Reality structured change. A equals defo, mathematical expression insight. Omega, cam, nu, three primary structures change. Finally understand. Stop thinking time, space, motion separate containers. Start seeing three faces change itself. Begin see universe anew. Begin see not collection objects, symphony changing patterns. Begin hear not separate notes, chord all music emerges. Handoff part 5. Now have 1. Phi, possibility difference. 2. Comparison, detect difference. 3. Licensing, trust detection. 4. A equals defo, actually detect, structured change three aspects. But extraordinary happens, look closely defo. Discover defo depth. Not just first differences, differences, differences. Differences, those differences. Infinite tower structure. Yet only access finite slices. Brings part 5. Infinite vocabulary. How reality, infinite descriptive depth, only read finite sentences. Mystery deepens, journey continues. End part 4. First touch made, triunity revealed. Structure reality begins come clear. Part 5. Climb tower derivatives. Discover reality infinite things say. Only hear finite sentences. Mystery why so awaits. Always peace be upon you.